Hi, this is Johnny Shell with SGIA, and here's today's Tech Tip Tuesday. Hi, I'm Johnny Shell, and in today's Tech Tip, I wanted to cover a little bit about screen make ready, specifically the blockout versus tape methods of production and screen making. So the mesh I used in this little experiment was a 225/48, and as far as the amount of blockout that I used, it was 11.3 grams of blockout. It took me about 1 minute and 10 seconds to block out the screen, and blockout sells for about $20 a gallon. So based on those data points there, I calculated about 300 screens per gallon of blockout. Now obviously that's going to vary based on the mesh count and things like that. The dry time for the blockout was a little over 9 minutes, and I calculated the cost per screen was about 6 cents, just in materials. When I did tape, I used 168 inches of tape per screen. This is a 2331 Newman roller frame. I put 2 strips of tape along each side of the frame. The roll length is about 55 yards per roll of tape, which costs $2.85 roughly. This is a generic packing tape, nothing fancy. So with all that, I calculated about 11 screens per roll of tape is what I would yield. The time to apply the tape was 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the time to remove the tape was 1 minute and 37 seconds. I had a few little tears and had to pick away at it and things like that. The longer the tape is on, the worse conditions will be, because the adhesive has a longer time to grab hold of the mesh. I only left the tape on for about 10 minutes just to kind of keep this little experiment moving. So I calculated the cost per screen using tape was 26 cents in materials. So if I were doing 300 screens, the cost in the tape would be $78. Using blockout, I would spend about $20. So tape is roughly a little less than 4 times the expense of blockout. Not to mention that tape tears during removal. You know, the longer it stays on, the worse that can be. You always have these little bits and triangles that stay on that you can't get off, and you just wait for the reclaim booth, and then they go down your drain, and your drain gets clogged. Tape can also let loose during production, and you get ink leaking through onto your garments that you're trying to print. So not really a tip per se here, but I am a firm believer in using blockout. It is a much more cost-effective approach in screen make ready. And that's today's tech tip.